Hello, welcome to today's magic review video. Basically, we're going to cover the Sigilist school changes that they made in the Frostgrave 2nd edition update. So let's go ahead and get started. Quite a bit of differences here. Some you might like, some you may not. I know I've got some feelings here too. Some of them mixed. We're going to start with right off the bat. The biggest change, even though it's not alphabetical. It's the Create Grimoire spell. It's removed. It's gone. You can't do it anymore. So essentially, no more. This is an economic hit. So no more can you create the grimoire and then sell it for 250 gold or even 200 gold now. You don't have an income stream now for that. You do with right scroll, but you only get 30 gold for a scroll anyway. So it's, I don't know. It's still a way to get money, but Create Grimoire is a big loss. And actually, I'm kind of torn. From a lore perspective, why wouldn't you be able to write a grimoire? Maybe there's a specialist. You need to be a special type of mage who's able to actually create these grimoires. Maybe, I don't know. But I guess from a game mechanic perspective, it kind of makes sense. Grimoires are supposed to be hard to find, and if you've got all these, you got sigilists out there who can write these grimoires up all the time. Why go into Felstad to find these grimoires? So, I don't know. I'm kind of torn between the two. I don't know. Anyway, that's gone. I only had one of my characters that ever really utilized that attempt, trying to get money. But I'm not going to waste my spells to try to get the Create Grimoire just to do that, because I need the spell slots to try to deal with my opponent mages. So so there is that. But Create Grimoire is gone. Now let's go to Absorb Knowledge. It's still there. Its casting value went up to 12, however, so I think it was 10. But now you only gain 40 XP instead of 50. That makes sense because your treasures are only 40 now, and you get 40 for playing the game. So there just seems to be an overall decrease in the number of XP you can earn anyway. There's a new one that's been added, though, that took the place of Create Grimoire, and that's called Bridge. And this is kind of interesting. Essentially, Casters creates a magical bridge out of something like a scroll. It's the way it's written here. The spellcaster uses the parchment of a long scroll to create a temporary bridge, ramp, or staircase. So you can picture just unrolling this, and boom, you have a potentially floating ramp or staircase. It doesn't have to be anchored to anything either, so it can be literally hanging in midair. So if there's a way, put it out in the, up top of in the middle of the play area, where you can leap from a ruin top to this thing. It stays there, and you can shoot down from it, for example, whether it's spells or whether it's missiles. It could be a floating platform for shooting, right? Or make it a ramp or staircase to get up to a piece of terrain that instead of having to climb vertically and with the vertical climbing penalty, or bridge between two pieces of ruin, making it open ground. It's a very useful spell. The thing is that when each spellcaster can only have one bridge in play, right? So, couple things here. The spellcaster, if he wants to make another bridge, he has to spend an action to cancel the current one, and then, other than that, at the end of every subsequent turn, the bridge disappears on a roll of 1 or 2. So if you're standing on it and the bridge disappears, there's falling damage potentially going to be happening to you. So use with care, okay? But still, I think it's a very useful tool, especially when you're trying to move around Frostgrave, moving from one ruin to another. Because again, the bridge is 2 inches wide and 6 inches long. That'll definitely allow you to get across some of the more narrow spaces within a Frostgrave table. Next one is Draining Word. Now, I don't know if it's so much a clarification or a change, but I think it's very important. It is -3 to a casting value, casting attempt of a particular spell type. So you cast the Draining Word, pick the spell, and all spellcasters are -3 to cast that spell. The thing is, a spellcaster can only have one of those casting draining words up at a time. Okay. In addition, only one draining word spell against a given spell type can be active at a time. So you can't have your caster, your wizards cast draining word elemental ball, and then have your apprentice cast draining word elemental ball. He'll have to be something else. You can only have one per spell type of active at a time. So that's actually probably a good thing. So small change or maybe a clarification, but that's the way that works. Explosive Rune now is it's still line of sight, but now it has a point anywhere within 4 inches and line of sight of the caster. So you can reach out a little bit further. However, now the rune has a chance of vanishing on an 11 plus if the spellcaster is no longer on the table. The spellcaster that cast it. You can still only have 3 explosive runes up at a time, and they used to last, to the end of the game. But now, if the spellcaster who cast them is gone, they have a chance of fading. Each one is 11 plus to, it'll fade. All right. The next one, Furious Quill. Now this one, it no longer mentions that it can be cast on a figure in combat with no penalty. And the reason it says that is that they've clarified the way you cast spells into combat. If it's a shooting attack, it's a random target. If it's not a shooting attack, it's just a regular effect, such as this one. It's a effect that's going to go on a target. There's no random roll. It automatically goes off on the target you want to put it on. So, that's actually it's a slight change in the way the rules are. I guess they may be clarified, but that's how they've been written. And so here you can cast it on any player or model in combat you want, without chance of it randomizing. Word of Power. This is kind of the same as the one before the draining word, except the opposite. It's +3. But again, you can only have one power word up per caster, and it cannot be a duplicate of a power word that's already in play by any caster. Okay, so big deal there. And it's, again, 14 plus is its casting value. Now finally, Push. And this is really, it's not a spell change. It's still pushes an 8 casting value. But they put the specific reference. You're pushing directly away from the caster. So think about it in a 3-dimensional space. If you're pushing up towards them or up under, the push goes in that direction. So it moves up at an angle or up away from the caster that inches. At the end, if it's not on something, it falls that distance. So you can use Push to really hurt someone if you can get down below them somewhere and push them high enough up. Think about that. Push now becomes extremely dangerous because it's not just horizontal movement. It could be vertical. So pretty good. I think that it makes more sense. I'm glad it's explicitly listed in the rules. That way you can't be accused of gaming the system or playing with the words in the rule. It's literally written in there. So, all right, those are the changes for the Sigilist. Again, the whole idea that you can't create grimoires now, that can be taken either way. That could be a good thing. I think in general it is, because then you're not being able to get all this money without actually having to explore. And because if you can just write grimoires and sell them all day, why would you want to risk your life in the city of Felstad? I don't know. So anyway, so that's where it is with the Sigilist changes for 2nd edition. Go ahead and put your comments, your opinions down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.